Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face. Welcome back to another edition of this Motorsport Manager career. We're back today with round 11, the Singapore Grand Prix. As you can see, we're still leading in the Constructors' Championship. We've got quite a healthy gap over the Ferrari and Mercedes teams. Red Bull only has scored 90 points this season. They are really struggling this season. Going to have to make some big changes there heading into next season if they want to remain competitive. As it is with the Drivers' Championship, Esteban Ocon in the last race regained his lead in the championship. He currently holds a 4-point lead over Vettel, a 16-point lead over Lewis Hamilton, and a 36-point lead over his teammate Lando Norris. A lot of our form this season has been down to a lot of luck and some really good strategies, especially in the rain, and especially in the last race where Lewis Hamilton, it was lucky for us that Lewis crashed out on the 13 laps. It looked like he was going to race off into the distance for a massive win. As it turned out, we got our first ever 1-2 finish in this game. Absolutely amazing racing from Ocon and Norris, especially with sort of where they qualified. We had Ocon in third, Lando Norris down in seventh. His climb from seventh to second was a really good result for him. And yeah, just absolutely amazing result in the last race. As it is going forward, all the parts we're building at the moment are going into next year's car. So this front wing that we're building at the moment is for next year's car. It's not going to see any action this season. We've introduced all our upgrades. As it is at the moment, we've got the best engine currently in the game heading into Singapore. We're currently once again beating the Mercedes and the Ferrari in the race to have the best engine. As you can see with this bar as well, it is all the way at the top, but we are rated having the 5th best brakes this season. But that green bar relates to the best part that we currently have built. So as you can see, it's all the way to the top. So heading into next season, hopefully we're going to retain that. We're going to have the best brakes built going into next season, unless Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull sort of get their act in gear and build a better brakes part than us heading into next season. And we have some room to improve the rear wing heading into next season as well. So hopefully by the start of next season, we're going to have the best engine, we're going to have the best brakes, we're going to have the best rear wing, and hopefully we can make some movement in the other areas so that we're going to be really strong, because next season is going to be a big season in this game. I don't want to get into it too much. All the information regarding next season's changes will be coming up once we go through the pre-season stuff for season 4, but it is going to be some quite substantial changes. A lot of it is to do with Formula 2 and how Formula 2 is going to be working. And there are some big changes in Formula 1 as well. As you've possibly heard me say in previous videos, I'm sort of going to be going a little bit more story around a lot of the other teams. A little bit more editing to do with the other teams, especially in the off-season, improving their cars, sort of relating to how and what engines they're going to go with. It's going to be a lot more story focused. One of those big stories at the moment is that Force India are in financial trouble, and it has been pretty much confirmed that they are going to be leaving Formula 1, and next season they will be replaced with another team. Who that team is, that's going to be left entirely to next season, but as I keep saying, it's going to be a lot more story focused, and that is to do with this game moving into the 2021 season, which is the season which, if you know in real life, is going to be the season where we're possibly going to see a lot of big changes to Formula 1. Liberty Media have come in, they've made proposals / new blueprints of what Formula 1 is going to be going forward, whether we do see the simplified engines or not. But that is something we're sort of going to be focusing on this game as well. Story mode, we can't actually get the full add any more engines to the game, but there is going to be a story mode. We're going to go around the story that there are going to be new engines in this game from different suppliers, and I'm going to be editing the teams to sort of reflect which engine I've chosen them to go with. Some of that will be down to sort of random dice rolls, sort of that sort of thing, to decide who they go with. But a lot of it's going to stick to pretty much reality and how it possibly would pan out in real life. A lot of the driver movements as well are going to be myself actually editing the driver movements just to make them a little bit more realistic, keep the top teams competitive. We're possibly going to be seeing a grid where the top 6 teams all have a chance of winning the race. And just as a note as well, when I do the editing for the other teams, I'm not allowed to edit anything in the Williams team. Everything I do with the Williams team has to be done fully through designing parts, improving parts, signing my own drivers. They actually have to want to come to the team, and I have to actually pay full whack to get them into the team. And if I mess up with the negotiations, then we mess up with the negotiations. And it means that I can lose drivers myself as well if I just decide that I think they should lose them. Maybe someone, if you think in the comments, maybe Esteban Ocon, for say, we'll just say he wants to go back to Mercedes. Mercedes want to cash in their contract with him, because basically storyline in this game, Esteban Ocon is pretty much still a Mercedes driver, even though he's destroying Mercedes this season. He's got a contract with us at the moment, which we're going to sign him up for 1 more year, and after that, if he's still beating Mercedes, then Mercedes might come in for him. And that is just how this game's going to work, and that would keep our driver lineup fresh, because as it is, if I just kept it as it is without the sort of story that's going on in my head, Ocon and Norris would be staying with this team for a long time, because if we can both improve to 5-star drivers, we're going to have a really strong car heading into next season, and we will be pretty much all dominant. We've got to add some story into this just to keep things fresh, just to make sure other teams are progressing as much as we are, and at that point things do not get too easy for us, and it's going to be a struggle to win the championship. As this season we've seen, even with the 4th best cars, not the best driver, we're actually doing pretty well. 4 wins to Mercedes 5 and Ferrari's 1. I do want to sort of make things a little bit hard, but anyway, I'm sorry if it's quite a long intro. I'm actually excited about what's going to be happening going into next season. Just thought I'd explain a few things at this point in the season. I possibly won't mention too much about it again, other than in passing reference. Everything to do with what is going to be happening will be in the pre-season video for next season. But as it is, we do have a new vote for what's going to be happening next season as well, which is for last place bonus payments. It would be cool if this actually got brought in, so I'm actually going to vote for it, because it would sort of revolve around a lot of things that are going to be happening next season. So we'll just use 1 vote on it. If it gets voted through, then all the better, but no, it's been voted against. We've had Ferrari and Red Bull voting against it, obviously, and a lot of the teams that are expected to finish down the bottom voted for it, but it's over. We cannot do anything about that unless I wanted to add it in through the editing. But as it is, we've only got the current rules so far of the qualifying base grids at the moment, which is going to go into the next season, just to get rid of the 3 qualifying sessions, because it's just messing up the AI too much, having 3 qualifying sessions, as we've seen. I don't know whether that's a lot to do with our improved form this season as well, in that the AI doesn't have the soft tyre to go on to then make a lot of strategy mistakes this season, a lot more than they were doing in the first 2, which has allowed us some really good racing. But as it is, we're going to go with our one of our main sponsors, UPS, for this race. They're going to give us a nice bonus there if we can actually go ahead and get it. Both guys are happy with their cars at the moment, so quite a long intro here, but we're going to finally get into the race portion of this video, skip over practice as usual, and we'll be back for a qualifying session, which looks like it's going to be done in the heavy rain, and we'll see how we can do there if we get both cars or just one of the cars into Q3. So here we go with our first qualifying lap in Q3. We only just managed to get through to Q3. We finished 9th and 10th in Q2, Ocon 9th, Norris in 10th place. Both Q1 and Q2 were interrupted by the rain about halfway through the session, so every team here should have fresh super softs, at least 3 pairs of fresh super softs, which means everyone is going to have a fresh pair of super softs as well, to maybe using sort of bring into their strategy during the race as well. As it is, Norris has currently gone slowest out of everyone who's done a lap at the moment. Hamilton is looking really quick here. Ocon goes quicker than Bottas at the moment, quicker than the Mercedes, slower than the Mercedes of Magnussen. Van Dorn going quicker than his teammate there in that McLaren as well. And as we see the first cars all come around here, where are we going to finish after the first round in Q3? We're 7th and 10th. So here we go with the second qualifying lap in Q3 here. Norris has a lot of ground to make up if he wants to pull himself off this 10th place position. Ocon has a few cars, especially Magnussen and Verline, that he could catch. Magnussen going slowest after his first set here. Norris is actually going quicker What is Ocon doing? Ocon's actually slower after his first sector as well, so it looks like he might not be improving. Norris has gone quicker in 2 sectors there, and we see Ocon pick up a little bit of time here. Norris has picked up a lot of time there, moves himself up to 4th, so that is going to be looking good for Ocon. Ocon goes quicker than his teammate 4th as well, so a 4th and a 5th place here for Ocon and Norris. They picked up a lot of time, and as we see, the top 5 cars are all within 2 tenths of each other here. Ocon under a 10th off the pole position of Hamilton. So things between us, the Ferrari and the Mercedes and the Red Bull as well, all looking really good here. As I was talking about previously, things are going to be a lot closer going into next season as well, with the addition of a new team, and the top 5 teams, the top 4 5 teams are all going to be really close. But anyway, here is the grid for the 2020 Singapore Grand Prix. On the front row of the grid, back to usual, you've got Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel there, really close with each other in the Mercedes and the Ferrari. In 3rd place, we have the 2nd Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. His move from Sauber going really well for him so far this season. 4th place, we've got Esteban Ocon, followed by his teammate Lando Norris. Then we've got in 6th place, Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull racing car. Kevin Magnussen with a dodgy neck, 1 week left on that, so he should be recovered for the next race. In 7th place in the Mercedes. Pascal Wehrlein up into 8th place with the Red Bull. Stoffel Van Dorn ahead of his teammate slightly there in the McLaren of Valtteri Bottas. Nico Hulkenberg is 11th in the Renault, 12th for Roman Grosjean, 13th for his teammate Carlos Sainz in the Haas F1 car. Alex Lynn in the Sauber 14th, and his teammate just behind him, Sauber, managing to get out of Q1 here. Pretty much all of that is down to the rain here, but Marcus Ericsson up into 15th. Anyway, a pretty disappointing qualifying session for Felix Rosenqvist, who seemingly got caught out by the rain, as did Max Verstappen, all the way down in 17th in the Force India, 1 place ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez. And then on the back row of the grid, we've got the 2 Toro Rosso cars of Pierre Gasly and Billy Johnson. Toro Rossos once again struggling this season, find themselves in last place in the Constructors' Championship, but hopefully we're going to have a decent start here. There is only one strategy I can see forward with this race, and that is chasing the 2-slot strategy with both these cars. That means getting off this super soft and going on to a medium, and then onto a medium once again, as we have a pretty slow start. Not that slow, but we've allowed Danny Rick to get past us. Ricciardo, meanwhile, is also battling early on with the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc and looking like he can get that position. Meanwhile, Norris at the start managed to get past his teammate as well. Norris has been having an outstanding season so far in his maiden season in Formula 1, but Ocon, it looks like, is going to make this move past him down that quite a long straight after that big looping corner into this almost hairpin corner. As we head down the pit straight, it looks like Ocon has got the run on his teammate, as we've got Kevin Magnussen nipping at both their heels. Ocon with a pretty quick lap of a 1:12.77 tenths off the leading car though, as Magnussen is putting Ocon under pressure. Norris meanwhile has managed to get himself back up there. Ocon not quite making that move stick there overall, but here we go. Norris is chasing down Ricciardo. Hamilton is once again pulling away. His Mercedes car is all powerful at the moment, and he's just managing to pull away from the 2 Ferraris, although the 2 Ferraris are a lot higher up as in regards to where the 2 Mercedes are placing overall, as we've got Kevin Magnussen quite far down the order here, and Norris hanging on to this 5th place over his teammate. Could leave Ocon open here to a move from Kevin Magnussen as he head around under the bridge section and across the bridge this time. We managed to keep Magnussen far behind us here. So what have we got left in this tyre now? We got on this super soft. I do want it to maybe do about 7 laps or so, and then we've got a little bit of room to push with the medium. We don't have that much room overall, so we're just going to get back into conserve mode for a little bit now. We've run these tyres a little bit longer than I wanted to, but we've just been trying to hold off that Mercedes of Kevin Magnussen. But we've done a pretty good job. We've kept sort of pace with the other cars around us, with Ricciardo and Magnussen. As regards to tyre wear here, Hamilton and Vettel, Leclerc meanwhile seem a little bit better off than us and possibly going to do 1 more lap than us. But if we can just hold these positions in conserve mode now for a little bit, if we can just hold Magnussen off. Magnussen does have that dodgy neck, which means his fitness has a -10 to it at the moment, which means as this race goes on, his performance is going to drop little by little. So hopefully that's going to keep us ahead of that second Mercedes here, as we have both our Mercedes powered Williams cars just in front, obviously not letting the works team through here. And we've had, was that someone diving into the pits? It is Stoffel Van Dorn getting off his super soft tyre really early here, as Bottas as well, stacking the two Mercedes in the pits. They're compromising Valtteri Bottas a little there, but we've got Norris and Ocon. This tyre loses the majority of its effectiveness at around about 20%. Some of it goes at 25%, so we've got about one more lap in this car. But just so we do not double stack here, we're going to have to bring one of the cars into the pits at the moment, because there's only 0.8 seconds between the cars at the moment. If we pit here, we're going to be getting out of the pits in 17th place. Where is 17th place on the grid at the moment? That is behind Max Verstappen, so I'm guessing we're going to have some clear air here. So since Norris is the leader, he's going to be one that gets into the pits first. And if we look after this medium tyre, we should be able to reach the end of the race from this position. And we see Kevin Magnussen dive into the pits as well. Danny Rick as well is in the pits, although he's in and out really quickly here. We know we have a quick pit stop, so we're in and out as well now, so we can get back up into neutral. We'll keep going in high mode for a little bit here, so we're in front of the Mercedes, and we're going to line up Esteban Ocon for his pit stop as well. So he's going to fly into the pits this lap. I'm guessing we're going to see all of the front runners come into the pits this lap, as well as Nico Hülkenberg has done a good job catching up as well. He's currently in 5th place. He started the race all the way down in 11th. So he's right behind Esteban Ocon at the moment. And is that Lewis? Lewis has gone past the pits. What's his tyre life like at the moment? Both Ferraris going past as well. Is that going to work a little bit into our favour? Could we catch up with Charles Leclerc here? Ocon is into the pits. He's going to get out, and he's going to be behind his teammate and just in front of K-Mag there. Just in front, although K-Mag is going to push in front here. And Kevin Magnussen does actually just get out in front there. And Norris, meanwhile, has caught the pack of these back markers. So we're just going to push a little bit here, just to make sure, as we've got these little bit of chaotic laps as we try to clear these cars that have yet to pit. If we can get Norris through these cars pretty quickly, although Kevin Magnussen on the fresh tyres, as we try to get past this traffic, he is catching up here, although Ocon seems to be taking advantage of these cars as well. We can't leave the car pushing too much, and is that Charles Leclerc coming out of the pit? So we're going to catch Leclerc. Almost caught Leclerc there, as we've seen Hamilton make his pit stop and Vettel as well. So we got almost on the back of Charles Leclerc here. We've got Norris past this traffic. We can't really keep him pushing because we're going to be compromised later on for our strategy. Meanwhile, Ocon has used the traffic to his advantage as well, managing to get past the traffic and Kevin Magnussen in the process. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn down on the fuel. We're not really racing the Ferrari in front, as Norris makes a pass on Billy Johnson. He should be able to make that move stick as we head up the pit straight here. Norris should be able to get back past, and then we can turn him down. Maybe need to keep Ocon in the higher fuel mode as we try and clear the other Toro Rosso here. But we've got both our cars still pretty much close together here, as we have entered lap 9. Just under a quarter of the race gone at the moment. Ocon currently 11th place. We've still got some cars ahead of us to pit, and Ocon uses his burst of speed there to get past Billy Johnson. We move up into 9th and 10th as we just wait for the likes of Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Sainz, Lynn to pit. Hülkenberg staying out a long time on this soft tyre. He's managed to go 10 laps into this race on that soft tyre, as we've got Norris almost right on the back of Ricciardo here. We've caught the pack of the top 4 that were in front of us, but obviously we don't have much room to push with Norris, as our race strategy would be compromised. It looks like everyone else might be chasing a 2-stop, depending on what happens when they make their second pit stop. We might see some of the AI cars chase a 3-stop strategy here, which would compromise them a lot if that is something they chase. And Ocon's complaining that he can't get past Norris, but he's quite a way back down the road here, as Norris is currently fighting out as Ricciardo stays ahead of Charles Leclerc there. Have we got the pace on the Ferrari down the pit straight? It doesn't look like it, as Ocon is slowly getting onto the back of this, and he's about to make this a 4-way battle for what is effectively the 3rd place, the last podium place in this race. Norris, can he get past Charles Leclerc? Leclerc and Norris the two big names going forward in Formula 1, it looks like at the moment, as regards at least to this game, because they are the top two young rookies, and Ocon as well. Not that he's classed a rookie himself, but he's really young as well. He's only 24. I think Norris is 22. So we've got like the three big drivers going through forward. If we like stick with this series a long time, these are going to be three of the top drivers going a long way into this series. If we see like the likes of Hamilton and Vettel retire, we're going to be seeing the title battles fought out pretty much between Norris, Ocon and Charles Leclerc. Obviously Leclerc is in a lot better car at the moment as Ocon goes ahead and passes his teammate here, as we're just sort of making our strategy get back to working for us. We've almost regained the fuel as well now, so we're going to get pushing on high mode with both of our cars as well. Hopefully we can start clawing back a little bit of a distance now to Charles Leclerc, who's moved on up the road at the moment. He's about 1.5 seconds in front as he gets his Ferrari into gear. Ricciardo meanwhile is a second up the road from Charles Leclerc as well. He's gone even further up the road. The power of that Red Bull and the Ferrari here showing its strength, as they're quite a little bit further forward than us in this race at the moment, as we're on currently lap 13. We're about to enter lap 16. Romain Grosjean is the first car out of all those that have gone a long way into this Grand Prix, who started the race on a medium tyre. It looks like Grosjean's going back for another medium tyre. He managed to get it 15 laps, which doesn't bode well for what we're trying to do at the moment, trying to two-stop this race. If this medium can only get 15 laps, we're halfway through this tyre at the moment, and we've done 10 laps at the moment. So it doesn't look, even though we've sort of tried to hold on for this tyre, we might have to revert to a free-stop strategy here, especially as you see Ricciardo, Hamilton is doing a little bit of a better job of hanging on to this. Maybe if we just run conserve mode for a little bit, maybe even backup mode, we're going to have to give up on this fight that we've got at the moment with Charles Leclerc. We've managed to catch him back up as we move a few more places up here, as we see a lot of cars come into the pits as well to get off their first set of mediums back onto another set of mediums. They're going to, all these cars that have run this medium are possibly going to go onto a third set of mediums and try to stop this race. That is what we really want to try and cover off, a lot of these cars that are going to try to stop the race. But I'm guessing a lot of the front runners might see a three-stop race from a lot of the front runners here. But if we can just cool these tyres down now, we are still going to chase that the two-stop. We're going to chase it. So instead of chasing Leclerc and Ricciardo, as in regards to pace here, we know we don't have the pace to sort of match them if we're running equal modes. We don't have the pace to do that. But if we just save everything here until we've sort of made our pit stop, if we just hold on and try and stretch these out as far as we can, hopefully we can then see where we're going to be at for another set of mediums. We do need, what did we manage off that 16? So 6 laps and 5 laps respectively, so we need about 37 laps. So if we can get about 18 laps off this medium tyre, if we can get that done, then we know we can get to the end of the race on another set of medium tyres, as we're giving up a lot of time now to the cars in front. Obviously we've got a long way back to Nico Hülkenberg behind us, who we're not really sort of racing at the moment. We could be racing him towards the end, because it looks like he's on a two-stop at the moment, having started the race on an intermediate tyre. Not an intermediate, on a medium tyre. Why won't that stay up? Stay up. Hülkenberg, no, he started on the soft, went 11 laps onto the medium, so he could be chasing a three-stop strategy here. But we're currently running 5th and 6th. If we can... The only way that I see is beating Ricciardo and Leclerc in this race is by chasing this two-stop strategy. So we're just going to have to run in medium mode. They're not running that much quicker than us at the moment, about 7/10. That is not a lot to give up, considering we're going to be a pit stop better off in the long run if we can make this strategy work, as Ricciardo's going to get off his medium tyre pretty sharpish here. And yeah, so if we just keep running in backup mode for a little bit, we can just see Ricciardo's actually dived into the pits this lap, so we're going to move up into 4th and 5th. Let's just see what Ricciardo does here. He's gone for another medium tyre, but for him to get that 22 laps is going to be a push for him, especially since he's going to be coming out of the pits pushing this tyre all out here. So Ricciardo's going to be chasing a three-stop strategy here. So to beat Ricciardo in this race, we're going to have to play the long game here, cool these tyres down. We've managed to go another quite a long way in this without using too much of the tyre. So if we replicate what we've done this stint, in the final stint, we're going to be able to more than enough get through to the end of the race doing the 2-stop. Currently on lap 24, Vettel has been into the pits for a super soft tyre. He might have enough speed in that to shoot off down the road, which is what we would pretty much expect. Even doing 1 stop less than the lead Ferrari, we would expect to be behind. Hamilton, meanwhile, has come into the pits as well. A yellow flag is currently out on track, and that is because Kevin Magnussen has crashed in the Mercedes, which is good news for us. Hamilton as well, chasing this 3-stop strategy. He's gone onto a soft tyre. He's not going to be able to get round to the end of the Grand Prix like that. Meanwhile, we have done a really good job at the moment. We've done 18 and 19 laps. This medium tyre, it's undercooked at the moment. It's underheated, not undercooked. Undercooked like a steak, if you like a raw steak. But anyway, Ocon and Norris, they've still got another few laps to go in this tyre. We've let Hulkenberg sort of catch back onto this, but we should have enough life in the tyre that we shouldn't have to run this backup mode going forward. And we've managed to retain a lot of fuel here. Leclerc is currently, where is Leclerc at the moment? He's starting in front. He's yet to pit, so it looks like he is going to be chasing the 2-stop. Let's just see what he's going to come back out onto the track with. Is he going to be going for a... We're going to get into attack mode on this. He's gone onto the medium, so he's going to be at a 1-stop here. So if we get attacking, our cars are far enough apart that they should be able to pit without impeding each other here. So if we get into the pits, these tyres pretty much done for. Although if we can go quicker on this last lap that we're about to do, it would be a good result for us. So Ocon currently quicker over the first sector. Is he going to be quicker over the second sector than his last lap? Obviously he should be over half a second quicker. So if we can get into the pits and have made a gain on Leclerc though going a long way. Whether the AI is going to be able to manage that tyre, hopefully there's not going to be a mistake here and we don't double stack. We've got Hulkenberg into the pits as well, and Ocon is out of the pits straight away there. Norris out of the pitch without incident as well. So we've got room to push this tyre for 1 lap, and we can run in overtake mode very briefly out of the pits here, and then we'll switch back to high mode. Ocon, meanwhile, we've got 5 seconds to Charles Leclerc here. We should have a little bit more fuel than him, so should we just run in high mode? If we just, well, we'll keep it in overtake mode for the first lap out of the pits. If we just push out all the way here, and then we'll switch down very briefly as well. We'll switch back into neutral because we just want to make sure we can run these tyres to the end of the race from this point. So if we just switch back to this now from lap 28, as we've got about 15 or so laps remaining. Currently running 7th and 9th place, but we know Lynn has to pit, Sainz, Grosjean have to pit as well. Ricciardo possibly has to pit, Vettel and Hamilton themselves have to pit, but they've got enough of a distance on us at the moment. It's just whether Leclerc is going to be able to get this medium tyre to the end. It looks like he's going to be trying to hold on to it, but I'm guessing we can catch Ricciardo and stay far enough in front of him. Even when he comes in for maybe a super soft tyre, we can stay in front of him. So we're currently chasing a 4th and a 5th at the moment, but if we can somehow get close to Leclerc here, which might be too much of a task considering the strength of that Ferrari car in the areas that we're not as strong as at the moment. This Singapore track is not as suited to our car with the really powerful engine and rear wing as it is to the Ferrari, I think, as we've got 14 laps remaining now as Hamilton goes past the start finish line. We've got a couple of Haas cars in front of us running pretty high up at the moment. Obviously they've got pit stops to make, 20-second pit stops, which could see them around about the point where Gasly is at the moment. We've got Billy Johnson currently running 11th, although obviously he's still got to pit again. So should we push to get past these Haas cars at the moment? They're sort of impeding our efforts to, not that we're making much of an effort at the moment, but impeding our effort to sort of catch up with Charles Leclerc here. And it looks like Norris is falling or competing with Hulkenberg, but Hulkenberg's going to be doing another stop. He's not going to be able to get that soft tyre to the end of the race here. So we don't really need to waste time with pushing with him at the moment, but we do want to sort of keep ahead of him. Whereas Ocon has cleared the Haas car of Carlos Sainz at the moment. Can we get Roman Grosjean on one of these straights? Our car should be a lot quicker than them in a straight line, but it looks like we're struggling to get past him. We're possibly using too much of this tyre at the moment. So should we briefly use overtake mode to clear this Haas car? Hopefully we can do it, although we're struggling at the moment. This Haas staying a long way in front of us, and we don't really want to Oh, and he dives into the pits anyway, so we're just going to recover now for a little bit with Esteban Ocon, try and cool these tyres down as Norris is now pulling away from Nico Hulkenberg. He's got a Sauber of Alex Lynn slowing him down a little bit at the moment, so we're going to speed Norris up. Hopefully clear this Sauber, who might be diving into the pits this lap as well. But if we can get in front of, and he's going to be coming into the pits, so there's no point doing what we're doing with the tyres at the moment. Alex Lynn, who was early this season with the Ferrari team, unfortunately his performance see him got demoted to Sauber, and Charles Leclerc promoted to the number 2 seat at Ferrari as Ocon comes across the line. 5th place, we're currently 5th and 6th. Danny Rick is going to pit at some point. He's only 10 seconds ahead, so he should be about 10 seconds behind us, but obviously he'll only have Hulkenberg behind. He'll be within a few seconds of Lando Norris as well, who's quite far behind his teammate. So we're just going to conserve our tyres for a little bit here. We'll try cool these back down, and then maybe we'll have a little bit of room to push, and that will keep Danny Rick behind us when he's eventually going to start pushing with us, whereas Vettel has got in and out of the pits for his 3rd pit stop and is in 2nd place, but he's got problems with his car at the moment. Hamilton still has a little bit more life left in these soft tyres of his, 40%. He's going to be coming in a lot later for his pit stop. Would expect him to go onto a pair of the super soft tyres. Whether that is a decision he's going to make, and we're seeing Ricciardo as well try to recover his fuel at the moment, so we can just afford to go as we are at the moment. If we just switch down for maybe half a lap, we're going to give ourselves a good position to be in towards the end of the race. See if we can recover a little bit more fuel. Just go into recovery mode at the moment. We're almost back right into the optimum temperature zone, right on the halfway point of this. We're just waiting to see what tyre Danny Rick gets on, and then we can sort of work out our strategy from there, because if Danny Rick goes for the super soft, we're going to have a hard time fighting him off, because he's going to be on a really fast pair of super softs to finish this race on. Meanwhile, Hamilton's still out on track. Charles Leclerc looks like he's done enough to stop this race as well, so he could be in a good position as well. He's possibly going to pick up that last podium place, because Danny Rick is almost done on these tyres. He should be coming in this lap. I would expect him to be coming in, and there we go. He's lined up for the pit stop now. He's 12 seconds ahead of Ocon now, but obviously we've got a little bit of room to push with these tyres. There's going to be 7 laps remaining once we finish this lap. 57%. We've currently done 9 laps at the moment using 44% of this tyre, so we should be able to do the last 7 or so pretty easily in neutral mode. So there we go through. It looks like Ricciardo might even get ahead of Lando Norris here, and he's actually, this pit lane is a little bit quicker than I was expecting, but not to worry. If we can keep Ricciardo behind Ocon, then that's a good result. But if we can't, 5th and 6th is a really good result for this car at the moment, as in regards to where it is in like a straight up race. And Hamilton has finally made his pit stop. He's out onto a pair of super softs, fresh pair of super softs to finish the race. It looks like he's got this race in the bag. He should regain the drivers. No, he shouldn't, as Vettel is currently 2nd in, isn't he? So it will be Vettel, Ocon, Lewis, and then Lando, whereas we would hang on to the constructors lead. Ferrari 2nd and Mercedes would then be 3rd, obviously with Magnussen crashing out and Mercedes once again giving up more points here. If we just keep this in high mode, we do have overtake mode to use to keep Danny Rick behind. Should we use that with Norris? Norris is too far behind. There's not much that he can do, but we might as well try and catch him up to Danny Rick here. Whereas Ocon, there's 10 seconds between him and Charles Leclerc. We've no real use using what we've got left in this car to chase down Leclerc. Our main focus now is keeping Daniel Ricciardo behind us, as he's lapping 7 tenths quicker, and he's only a second behind us, so at some point he's going to be able to get us. Whereas Norris currently lapping in the 111.5s. He's a little bit up this lap. Is he going to improve this lap as well, now that he's pushing a little bit more aggressively? Half a second up on his last lap here, so we know we've got that in Ocon's car. If we want to push him, we've got half a second in the car, and he goes 6 tenths quicker on that lap. He does a 1:10.9, which is quicker than Danny Rick, and Ocon and Danny Rick's times are pretty much matching each other now, as this soft tyre is wearing down pretty quickly for Daniel Ricciardo as he tries to follow Ocon here. And it looks like this Singapore track is a little bit tricky to overtake on, as Norris is closing the distance, but he's pretty much used up all his excess fuel and not made much of a dent into the gap that Danny Rick has in front of him. But if we can keep Ocon here, where is Pascal Wehrlein at the moment? Wehrlein in that Red Bull, still struggling this season, and Red Bull's in 11th place in the McLaren, his teammate 14th. McLaren falling off this season. Bottas had a really good start to this season, but the two Haases of Grosjean and Sainz, Carlos Sainz running pretty high here, and Lynn as well, once again having a pretty decent race since he's moved to Sauber. Where was this sort of form when he was in the Ferrari? Who knows? Who knows where that form was? But as it is, we've got 2 laps remaining now, or we will have once we come across the line. We've got enough room in this tyre, just about. We've got enough fuel in this to keep Danny Rick behind, who's fallen 1.5 seconds behind here at the moment. So if we get back into high mode here, should we try an attack with Norris? There's 10 seconds between Norris and Grosjean, whereas if these tyres go, then we should be able to stay ahead of Grosjean, but it looks like Ricciardo's back to attacking here, so we're not going to close that gap up yet. We don't really want to lose 6th place here, but we can keep it in high mode, and we'll just try cover Ricciardo off here by pushing all out here. We've got room to do that with the fuel. He got this gap back to 2 seconds now. We should be able to go ahead and improve that now over, or at least hold on to it over the final lap, as Ocon should go pretty quick here. We've got life in this tyre as well. Should we get attacking on it? See if we can get Ocon setting a really quick last lap here. I don't think we're going to be able to get the quickest lap of the race, but we're already 2 tenths up over the last lap here. Norris, meanwhile, he's just holding on to that 6th place at the moment. Over the second sector, how much quicker are we? Half a second quicker than the last lap. We've now got the gap over Ricciardo back to 3 seconds as we're about to come around the last corner. Ocon is going to go across the line. He does 8 tenths quicker than his last lap there. Stays ahead of Ricciardo to the finish, 3.3 seconds. Norris comes across the line in 6th place, a decent race for him. So we get Hamilton, Vettel, Leclerc, Ocon followed by Ricciardo, Norris in 6th. The 2 Haases in 7th and 8th, Grosjean and Sainz, the Renault of Hulkenberg 9th, and the Alfa Romeo Sauber, they're in 10th place. Wehrlein almost got back up into the points, but was still over a second behind the Sauber of Lynn. That 3 stop not working out for the Red Bull and the McLaren there. Verstappen, after his really bad qualifying session, moved himself up a few places as well. So a pretty decent race there in Singapore, and we're on target there with 4th and 6th, which is where we should sort of be this season. Obviously we should be a little bit better than the second Red Bull of Wehrlein, competing with the car of Daniel Ricciardo in that Red Bull, and still somewhere behind the Ferraris and Mercedes, which is where we should be. No one running any risky parts there. So there we go, confirmed. Vettel now takes the lead in that Ferrari. It seems like him getting Charles Leclerc in that seat behind him has kick-started him into gear. Leclerc has moved up the order pretty rapidly, has up into 7th place now after scoring, I think he scored 17 points in the Sauber, but he's moved up. We've now just got 25 points over the Ferrari, still 52 points over the Mercedes though, and their bad luck continues. Hamilton crashed in the race before, Magnussen crashed in this race, so not the best of times for the Mercedes teams at the moment, as Vettel moves into being the favourite to win the Drivers' Championship, and Ferrari move into being the favourites in the Constructors' Championship as well. So if we just take a look, where are Ferrari behind us? They were 25 points, weren't they? So that is not going to take them too long to get that, unless we get some more rainy races or some crashes from maybe Vettel or anyone like that. We've got a new pit crew hire. No one here is obviously as good as we've got at the moment. We've got the best pit crew in the game with Williams. We've got really solid reserves as well. But anyway, we'll just get on to the mail here. An interview with Eddie Cheever for ESPN. We have a time. Esteban Ocon was beaten by Lewis Hamilton, and we'll just say that one because it always keeps him buttered up. We always keep the best drivers buttered up in this game for some reason. I think we've got Verstappen, Vettel, Ricciardo, Hamilton as well buttered up here. So if we wanted to, we could go ahead and try and sign one of them, but obviously money is pretty tight at the moment. We've only got £16 million left this season. Obviously we get quite a lot in prize money, which we should go a long way. We're going to get a pretty good chunk of this 500 million this season since we're first. If we do go ahead and do that, we could be somewhere in the £60 million range. And as it is, we've got UPS who are up the next race, so we're going to be losing this £400,000 bonus. But hopefully we can re-sign UPS there, because if we can re-sign them, then we have them there for when we get to America, which is going to give us a decent chunk of change if we can keep that sponsor. As it is, the next one up is Puma next season. We're going to see Infinity at some point next season up, but not before before the end of next season. Johnny Walker's up sometime next season. SMP lasts a really long time, 55 races left there, and NEC, sort of the title sponsor, right on the side of the chassis here, on the right on the side there, is up in 13 races time, so just before the halfway point of next season. But that is where we're going to leave this episode. We've got the Russian Grand Prix coming up next time, so leave a comment, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, all the usual stuff. But until next time, I'll see you down the road in Russia for the Black Sea Grand Prix, and goodbye.